Big up, big up, big up, and welcome to the Liverpool 12th Man Show. I'm the Liverpool 12th Man, and I'm joined by the Irishman today, and we might have some other guests joining us later on, but we're the duo that's going to be holding it down today, as of right now, at least. And I wanted to introduce the Irishman to the stage here, since we're doing the curtain raiser here. How you doing, Irishman?
Yeah, very well. It's Saturday, but it feels like a Sunday. And all day, I haven't been able to shake the feeling that it feels like a Sunday today, and I couldn't figure out why. And it was only when you just said it to me there about the Community Shield. That's because that's always usually on a Sunday.
Mm.
So I've been walking around with this kind of because it's a weekend day. But yeah, he's not dead, Trap Joe. We just sold him. I mean, he's not. He's no longer on the payroll anyway. That's for sure. But
Yeah,
yeah, we'll get into it.
we're gonna have a bunch of good topics to talk about today. Bunch of news, some of the topics there for what we're gonna talk about. But we have some news that's like on the horizon here. Whether you think it's good or bad news, that's something that we can all talk about certainly. But it is news all the same in that we have some outgoings and we have some possible incomings as well. So big up to Trap Joe, big up to Ian, big up to you
I
both. Um, Thank you for the hello, and big up to everyone joining us out there, whether it's morning, evening, afternoon. Big up to everyone that is alive and
on a
alive with
replay.
us. Yep, live with us right now. I should say live with us right now. So, um, and if you catch us on the replay, definitely
Yeah.
big up to you as well as always. But but what I was gonna say is, I guess we could just start this off. Um, yeah, we changed him with this aura. I don't even know. I don't know. I let's just talk about this big deal because this is a pretty nice size deal for us. I'll
Mhm.
give a little background before we for start really getting into the discussion here. But Liverpool have agreed to sell Fabio Carvalho to Brentford. It's a deal worth $27.5 million, or excuse me, 27.5 million pounds. Excuse me. That's $35 million, but 27.5 million pounds, including add-ons. It's a nice bit of change that they've been just made off of this deal. Because a lot of the numbers I was seeing out there was 20 million, 20 million, 20 million. That's the like rounded off um
That's the guarantee
actual
fee.
profit that we've made from this deal, because the transfer um, is from an original £7 million Fulham deal in 2022 that we made. This transfer also includes a 17.5% sell on clause. Um, and that's on any future profit that Brentford is decided if Brentford decides to sell Carvalho again. Um, it's it's significant. It's relatively significant. Look, Fulham Carvalho's previous club will also benefit from this deal. They earn 20% of Liverpool's profit, about 5 million. So £5 million. So that translates to about 3.1 million for Fulham if Liverpool receives the full 27.5 million pounds. So um, pretty decent deal.
Yeah.
It also means to me though that this money is probably earmarked for some other movement to be made. What are your thoughts on this deal?
Yeah,
Here,
if you talk about, your 20 million down, basic 20 million is guaranteed, and they're talking about 7 million in add-ons, potential add-ons
mhm,
in pounds. I'm not. I'm sure they won't be. He has to win the Ballon d'Or. He has to win the Premier League. It might be something like 50 appearances,
mhm,
and I don't know. It's probably appearance. I'd imagine it's appearance based, and it'll be achievable enough
Mhm.
to get the full 27.5 would be a lot of money for him. So that would be good to get that. So I'm sure I would I just take a guess and say it's on 50 appearances, and then the rest is another 50 appearances because we wouldn't be banking on him winning anything. That's not fair at Brentford. So I'd yeah, I don't know. I like it as a big full round number. Yeah, it's good, but even just the 20 million confirmed up front or the 20 million down payment
Mhm.
guaranteed, like even that is a good price for him. So to get an extra potential 7.5, then the basically call it like a 20% share of the profit. I mean, it's all yeah, it's all extras, and but even just to 20, I think is a good price to get that guaranteed. Uh,
Mhm.
Great deal for us, a player who, I mean, we just sent him out on loan pretty much immediately. He went and proved himself a great player at Hull. He was a great
Yeah.
player, and we got a really good price from him. And
Yeah.
I think he's moved to a really, really good club, a really good club for him. I hope they play him. I hope they weren't just kind of buying him, to put into the squad. I hope they have a place for him, and
That's a
he
good
gets.
question. That's a good question. I don't know if that's a good question. I'd have to let's take a look at the Brentford's. Let me look at the Brentford
No,
squad.
I'm
Actually,
happy with it. Hi, Baz. I'm definitely happy with it. I think, but like we were saying backstage, I'm calling it like I was happy to see the news because more that this makes me think like we're getting some people. We're confident enough to get rid of a few people because we all knew the midfield was overloaded, right?
hmm
We knew that.
hmm
Um, so this I don't think we're get again. He doesn't play the six, but I think the fact that we're happy to move a couple of players on means that there should be another people coming in the door. That would I would make the assumption that it's going to be one out, one in pretty quickly. So I
where do
just
you think he even plays for? Where do you think he would play for Brentford? Like where in?
well apparently he had a problem with Arne Slot telling him that
Yeah,
Arne
yeah, because he
Slot
doesn't want to play the left wing. He doesn't want
yeah
to play left wing, right?
yeah. So I'm going to assume pretty much like as a like a
Because they
kind of
play
a
a 4-3-3.
man.
They don't play a 4-2-3-1
Yeah,
or something.
could see him playing in the middle, or else he's just going to go there and he's going to have to suck it up and play wide left, wide right.
Hmm
But if they could play him as a 10 and a 3, I don't know.
That's
Maybe James
taking
Franklin's in the
that's
plan.
taking Christian. That's like the captain plays in the middle. Christian Nurgaard plays in the middle.
But that's what I'm saying. Maybe he has a new tactical plan this season,
Yeah,
and he sees him as someone that can fit in it. Because, like, I mean, if he has a problem, this is the you see when I heard about that, I was like, look, this is the shit. This is why he was loaned out immediately because he turns around and he plays or says to a Dutch coach who obviously isn't going to nail him in one position. I don't play on the left wing. I won't play where you want me to play. I think that shows you that the guy does have what do you call it, good attitude, strong, convictions about himself. But that to me was like, yeah, this fits in with what I've been hearing about this guy. That it was attitude problems all along, and he has kind of the balls to sit down with a coach and say, yeah, I'm not going to play there. Well, maybe this has come out of the club to make him look bad and as a reason to get rid of. I don't know, but as soon as I heard that, I was like, yeah, look, this kid, he obviously has ideas that don't fit with what we have. So that's a good price to get him or to get
hmm
from him. That's a really good price to get from him.
hmm
Let him. I hope he's happy. Because Hull fans are like, this guy is ridiculous. Like they had Jaden Philogene, who's probably one of the most skillful players they've ever seen. And I know they're Hull, but they've actually had quite a few. And they're like, this Carvalho kid is he's ridiculous. He's way too good for the championship. Way too good. So you put him in a team that uses him, gives him the ball and lets him do it. I think you'll see a really good player, but maybe just not for us.
Yeah, yeah. It was just a question. So I was looking at the lineups and like normally they have he can get in over the other two options on the left or the right, I believe. But I don't know if he necessarily pushes out Nergard from the middle spot. He doesn't want to play left wing. They play a 4-3-3.
Yeah.
They're
He
not. He's
just
not
wanted
getting
to.
over. He's not getting over Mabomo or Ivan Tony. So it's like,
No, it's just if they're playing a 4-3-3, he could be say like he could play in that three in the middle. He could
yeah,
hypothetically, But I mean, I'd like to see. Well, not that I'd like to see. I suppose it's not our problem anymore. But
yeah,
I
yeah.
would
I guess you're saying
imagine.
so. Yeah, yeah.
I would imagine you'd get the best football out of
It's
him
a kind way
playing
of
him
putting it.
as a midfielder. In the middle, getting
Yeah,
in a kind of a Ozil type or Ozil, but where he wants to be and what he wants to
Ozil.
do.
That's high praise. But
Well,
anyway,
I
yeah,
meant in the I immediately retracted Ozil, but
yeah.
yeah, I just think a good deal all around. I think Ian said it earlier on. Good deal for us, good deal for the
Mm-hmm,
player, and good deal for Brentford. They're getting a good footballer.
mm-hmm.
So I think it kind of one of those deals that's worked out nicely for everybody. He's a London boy.
Yeah,
I know he's Portuguese and all that, but he's basically brought up and he's basically a London boy. So he's gone back down to London now again. So even that works for him. So I think it's a really nice, sweet little deal that's worked out for everybody. And we've gotten, like someone said, pure Michael Edwards shit, as per usual. You know, getting him tied down, getting a great price for him, getting a nice little sell-on clause, decent amount of add-ons. Yeah.
yeah. It's a good deal. I'm not hating on it. Look, we all know that it was it wasn't inevitable, but it was certainly likely to happen. I think that he definitely proved himself to be a baller in the preseason. He's proven himself, like you said, with Hull, with his loan deals, or at least with one of his loan deals. He didn't do really well with RB, but with
Oh
Hull, he
well,
did
yeah,
well.
that was a disaster. Yeah.
Yeah,
See, that's the thing. Again, well, what's going on there? So
yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's one of those cases where it's like, okay, cool, you know, I'm good. I'm glad to see this happen. I know I was talking to big up to Michael Corleone, LFC. Big up to
and
you. Big up.
Nolante,
Yes, right.
Nolante's in the chat.
Yes, Nalante, Red for Life, Baz is in the chat. Big up, High Lords in the chat. Big up, guys. Big up all of you guys. Make sure I didn't miss anyone either. Okay, and I said what's up to Realism Jarrett and Richard. Big up Richard, by the way, too. What I was gonna say is that yeah, I was telling Alante, we're chatting during the Community Shield game, and it was like, cool, we made this deal, we got 20, around 20 million, let's call it profit. We better make a big name deal, or I want to see us make a big name deal with that money. I want to see us bring in some that should be like the extra kitty on top of whatever we had budgeted towards getting a player in, basically. Like if that's
Oh
the
yeah,
money that we got to use to incentivize Bastoni, cool. If it's like, that's what I would like to see personally. So we'll see if it actually works out that way.
very
Um,
quietly it all adds up, doesn't it? Very quietly,
yeah, yeah,
20 million here, 6 million there for someone we're going to talk about later on.
yep, yep,
Maybe 10 or 12 million for a couple of guys to go up to Scotland. Next thing you
yeah,
know, you've got an extra 60 million quid in the kitty. Then maybe a generous offer comes in for a first teamer like a Simicast or a Canate and think, yeah, we can do that deal. Next thing you know, you've got 100 million in the kitty.
yeah. Even
Just,
even
you know,
the even the
what
9
Chelsea?
million that we made off of Solanke now is like money in the pot. I mean, like that's close.
Yeah,
With these two transfers alone, that's like 30 million. So
yeah, it ain't chump change. Like we're saying, we don't want to pat on the back for doing it, but you've got to pay attention to it and you've got to use it. And we are one of the few clubs out there that I think we can be 100% positive that that money isn't all of a sudden going to go.
mm-hmm.
You know, where's that 10 million? What 10 million? Where's
Yep,
the money
yep,
from the Sankit? No, that'll all go into, the one criticism they always get. Oh well, we only bought them because it was Coutinho money. Because we reinvested all the Coutinho money. This
Yep.
will all. It's not like the old school Blackpool owners. They got 10 million quid for Charlie Adam, and
Yeah,
all of a
yeah,
sudden there's only 1 million quid, and like there's 1.5 million in the club's account. It's like, what happened to the 10 million?
yeah,
Go and ask. The
yeah,
owners siphon it off. We will reinvest what we get. So that's why these things are so important,
yeah,
because we actually do use them.
yeah, yeah. Let me bring in one of our guests here. Just about ready to join us.
Get out. Go.
Hmm.
Don't give me that.
Baz is in the house. Big up, Baz. How are you?
Go.
Hey, big up, lads. Big up, lads. How you doing?
Good, brother. Good. Oh man, I can hear the Irishman handling his dog, doing his thing, and just talking some business, talking some money, and nothing better than bringing in money, and hopefully if we end up using it, that's the biggest question.
Absolutely.
Jesus.
Let's
Sorry
get on.
about that.
I'm going to bring in this next topic. And because this is something that, again, is an overwhelming saga with this club currently, and that is Zubamendi. Let me just give you the little background that I have. Real Sociedad are willing to go to great lengths. Apparently, they're willing to up the stakes in essence by making Zubamendi the highest paid player on their team. According to Basque-based outlet Noticias de Gipuzkoa. Okay, that was a tough one. Not only are I gotta practice on my Spanish. Not only are Sociedad prepared to offer the midfielder a new contract that would make him the club's highest paid player, but the president of the club has returned from his holiday in light of everything that has happened in recent days to make this happen. The report goes on to say that it can't be ruled out that Zubamendi saga will be closed one way or another this weekend, as Liverpool want a final decision because they are not going to wait for him. Also, apparently, Barcelona are looking to unload Frankie de Jong, and for cheap, all things considered, 60 million euros. I have a question, and that is, one, is Frankie de Jong a better option to go with? And would you prefer to have either or? So if this doesn't work out, we're already going to spend about 50 some million for him, 51 million for Zubamendi. Obviously, the deadline is coming up. We set the deadline for this weekend. Real Sociedad is doing everything they can to make this player happen. The question is,
hard question.
is he a better option to go with, and would you prefer to have either or? Before you answer that, I'm going to bring up another guest as well. Nalante, big up Nalante. How are you doing?
Yeah, big up to all for the buzz in the chat, Brian, as always. Blessings as always.
Big up.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, your microphone just kicked in. Yeah.
I just think I didn't get a chance when my dog was, but anyway, Baz just hopped on just as the dog decided to be a dickhead. So, hello, Baz. I haven't been talking to you in ages, man. I wasn't being rude. I just had to take my headphones off, so I didn't get to.
No, I get it.
And hello, Nalante.
So this is the question too, by the way. Let me just address Realism Jared's point as well, real quick. Look, he makes something like 720,000 or something ridiculous euros. I think it's around 600,000 some odd pounds or something ridiculous. His salary is absolutely ridiculous, but that's because he was owed money from before. Barcelona owed him money from before, so most likely Barcelona would have to, for this deal to get done, Barcelona would probably have to, settle its debts with him some way, somehow. Write him a real check, to make up for the fact that he's not going to go to nowhere. He's not going to go anywhere else and make that kind of salary. Just plain and simple. So he's going to be, bounce back to, we'll call it a reasonable salary for a football player, but he's not going to be making $600,000 regardless of wherever he goes. But that's my question. I'm going to go to the Irishman.
Yeah.
I'll go to Nolante. And I'll go to Baz. Let's go around the horn here.
I remember the
better
question. Don't
option?
worry. Yeah, no, I remember the question. Yeah, so you say, do I want De Jong? Is he a better option to Zubimendi, or would I just take either or?
Mhm.
I think, you were talking about the money. He went in there on around 400 grand a week. We're not picking up, like, De Ligt has just joined Manchester United because it didn't work at Bayern. Everybody went completely crazy with that Ajax team like they do. And, Barcelona gave him the world, 400 grand a week at least, probably 10-year deal, something stupid. I'm exaggerating, but a long contract. The same with De Ligt when they went to Juve, pay a huge fee for him. Now they're all trying to back away from these deals. So now are these players damaged goods? Are they actually as good as everybody thought they were in the first place? They just went to crazy clubs. Barcelona isn't ideal. It's really, really hard to judge that. Like, I think De Ligt has this kind of PTSD kind of shit going on where it looks like it's all gone badly wrong for him. De Jong being thrown in at this late stage in the deal, no, I wouldn't be happy with it. If we've had our sights on Zubimendi, this is kind of completely ignoring De Jong. I think De Jong was a wonderful footballer, without a doubt. But if we've identified Zubimendi, then I want us to go for him. De Jong's a very different type of player. He carries the ball through the lines. He wants to receive it and run with it and then give it. That's not what Zubi does, so that's not what we're looking for. So, yeah, I'd be disappointed if all of a sudden we ended up getting him, because that, to me, that deal is a little bit too expensive, a little bit too... Yeah, it doesn't really look like... It's not a very Liverpool deal to do, that one. It'd be more... I just think we've identified Zubimendi, so I think I want us to go and get that guy.
That's your player. Got you.
De Jong's got Chelsea vibes, it's kind of, just a club with too much money trying to make a statement without thinking about it. So, yeah.
Since we just had Lee join us as well, big up Lee. How are you doing?
All right, mate.
What I'm going to do is I'll go to
here all of a sudden.
I know. I'll go Baz, Nolante, then Lee. So we'll just go that order so everyone knows kind of how the order will be. Baz, with my question, what is your analysis of it? Is De Jong a better if like is he a better read or not better read but a better acquisition?
I think he's more proven. I mean, he's been around a bit longer, I think. But I think Slot and the team have already identified, Zubimendi as the player that they really want.
Right.
For the price, the wages, it makes more sense just to get the Zubimendi deal done. And there's also the fact that this guy is on some big wages. If he knocks, I've totally heard what you said, with the money owed by Barcelona, etc., all that madness going on. He'd still be commanding quite a big wage. When you deep it, he'll probably just go down to, let's just say, I don't know, 200,000, might drop 200,000. That's still quite a big, sizable amount for a player that's come in. So I wouldn't think he's an option. I wouldn't want him. I think, like you said, he's got other football teams, or I think Irishman said, different football team, like maybe a Chelsea vibes and stuff. But then people like Man Cities and the Uniteds, they'll throw money at him to get him, because I know United were linked with him like a couple of last year or the year before, and there was an issue to do with that money owed to him. But I just think that's what's going to put off a lot of teams. So yeah, to answer your question, Zubimendi all day, twice on a Sunday.
Wow. Okay. All right. Nolante, how about for you?
Yeah, to echo what Baz and Bryce said, I mean, with Subi, yeah, man, look, don't get me wrong, De Jong, I think all of us can admit he's a good player, but again for slot system, the type of play he is, he's not really the athletic type ish. Now I'm not saying someone Subi is, but he gets bypassed in the midfields quite easily for me. And defensively, I think he's, in the defensive aspect in terms of awareness, I think he's a little bit overrated. So I mean, again, so yeah, let's go get Subi, or if not, get the number 2 target, because as I said, Hughes would have a number 2 target because of the way Subi's dragging his feet, which is kind of getting a little bit on my nerves, if I'm honest. But I guess I understand. And if it's number 2 target, if we can't get Subi, then I'd like to get someone like Kone from Mutual Fabrici. Yeah. Again, I wanted us to get him last season, but we didn't. But
even
with the
with the knee injury, you'd prefer even with.
Yeah, he's recovered from that. For me, he's recovered from that. Well, I watched certain games with him, and yeah, man, he'd been that's it. But again, that's my second choice.
Yeah,
he did.
He was brilliant.
Yeah, go guys. It was, wasn't it? Mm.
He was brilliant. Yeah, in the first half, and he was epic. So yeah, just echo that.
Yeah, that's it, Baz. Yeah, Baz. So yeah, that's it really in my text. So yeah.
Lee, you're last on deck here. The question was basically Frankie de Jong is been offered out. He's available. Barcelona obviously is in some financial straits and they're trying to make some money up. If they were to get rid of Frankie de Jong, maybe they could initiate the whole Nico Williams deal or something along those lines. So they're trying to make some money up. Frank de Jong has been, as Michael Corleone says here, de Jong has had some injury history. I don't know if it's Thiago level, but he has had some. He definitely has had some injury issues, and but he's a talented player, obviously. Dutch, what is this the guy to go for rather than the sitting here waiting on Zubimendi, or is Zubimendi your guy?
He's a fabulously talented player, De Jong, but I mean, Highlaw put his wages up then, didn't he? It was like that was a ridiculous amount. That was at 750 grand a week. Well, in Europe, in euros,
yeah.
Oh, that's huge. That's a huge wage.
Again, keep in mind that is because of the fact that they owed him money and they weren't paying him for a long time, so they had to make up the difference by paying him more now. It wasn't like he got a contract for 721,000.
Yeah. Well, everyone knows how good he is, but I still prefer Zubimendi. Zubimendi's younger, and people are questioning De Jong's fitness record as well. He just spend a lot of time out. That's one thing to do now.
Mm-hmm. Okay. That's it. I thought I have maybe one Frankie. Frankie goes the Hollywood fan out here.
Yeah, I do really like him. But
let him go to LA Galaxy then.
Let him go to there you go.
But he's a great player, 12th man. He is a great player.
Yeah,
but
great player.
when you really look at it, Liverpool, are they going to pay that big amount of money?
No. Yeah.
That's the thing. He'll still command a good fee, and the wage is going to be a problem. We see, a lot of players, they don't really shift on their, on their wages just to go to a team. Do you know what I mean? So I think that's the only obstacle.
Yeah, very true. Very true. Well, then let's shift back to Zubimendi then. Richard, this is the report at least that I have here, is that Richard Hughes traveled to Spain earlier this week, not only to wrap up the deal with Zubimendi, but he also went to Valencia as well. And that was to basically shore up and finalize the deal with Georgi Mamardashvili. There you go. I'm getting better at it. I gotta get it down so that I can. It's a mouthful for sure, but all right.
The mama.
Yeah. I know. It is kind of weird though, calling a grown man mama. So that's why I'm not like.
Yeah.
I guess so.
you reckon they ever sing Bohemian Rhapsody to him? Mama, just
There you
killed
go.
the man.
Yeah,
Well, I
Mama,
hope they
that probably
don't.
be a song. That probably will be a song when he's out there. Mama, that's Philly. There you go.
I think we could change it to just save the pen instead of just kill the man. That might be a bit.
There you go. There you go.
Could
The
be just
deal is
twist.
still on the agenda apparently for Liverpool. They're
Great
hoping
deal.
to loan out the Georgian to Bournemouth of all teams. Go figure. Or maybe even Leicester as a possible destination as well. Yeah.
Nah, not helping them
Um,
out. Sorry, Ant, not helping them out. No
yeah,
way.
right.
No way. Not helping those boys out.
If a deal is completed for Zubamendi, this is at least according to Anfield Watch. It is expected Liverpool will obviously make a move for the goalkeeper immediately as well.
Such a weird deal. Such a unique deal.
Yeah,
Very
it is.
strange.
It is.
Never seen one like that where a player at a big club like Valencia happy
And he's
to
willing, and he's so willing to get
Yeah.
to leave that you know.
No, it's
get to
stupid,
Liverpool.
man.
Very unusual deal.
Which club was he going to get loaned to?
Well, they're talking about
Either-
Bournemouth. It's
Yeah.
sort of a 2 or 3 kind of
Oh, okay.
It could be this kind of thing. Nothing sort of he's definitely going to go to Club A. It sort of could be, yeah. Bournemouth was the first one I heard, and then Leicester, and then there was a foreign club I thought.
Mhm.
But
Yeah, because the Bournemouth one is what I heard.
Well, it makes sense
Yeah.
too, considering Richard Hughes' ties. So.
Yeah,
I can see the narrative being why are we helping Richard Hughes' former club out, whereas I see the sense in the deal. I just think it's very unusual that these kind of things rarely happen. I see he's a great keeper,
Mhm.
and if we know that Ali is going to leave in a year, get him in the door now. But like we said last night, as soon as you buy a guy and you send him out on loan, you run the enormous risk of him doing his ACL, breaking his leg. But hey, look, come on, these are just things you can't really. If you worried about a player getting injured, you would never sign anybody. So it's a great way of getting him tied up and stopping other people coming in for him. But unique,
Well-
really.
Well,
Very
that's not
worrying.
the only. Go ahead, Milante.
no, just to Brian. Yeah, and I think what Baz said is very worrying because if that's happening, then Allison is going. There's an indication that Allison's going, and
Oh well, yeah.
yeah, and to put, I mean, again, it's very hard. I've seen bits of him, so it's very hard to dictate. But to go from Allison to him, I'm not sure. But we'll see. We'll see the next 12 months anyway.
Yeah, and it could, or it could just mean that. Guess what? Obviously, a player that's willing to go on loan like that, at least, it could just mean also that maybe there is a deal already in line for Kelleher. Maybe they're trying to just work out the specifics for it. And because I mean, if you're willing to go out on loan, I don't see why you wouldn't be willing to, play second fiddle to the the world's best in the world. At least that's how I would see it.
Does this
personally.
rumor
but-
seem quite definite? Does it? This Marmados Billy deal? This is more than a rumor. Like we are definitely getting them or something. Is it now?
It's-
Yeah,
Yeah,
it looks
a
it
rumor.
looks very likely. Looks very likely. I mean,
Yeah.
nothing's definite in the transfer world, obviously, but it looks very likely.
It's got legs though. It definitely has
Yeah.
legs.
Well, he's popular at the moment, isn't he? After his showing at the Euros, so
Certainly, and I
I-
definitely I like the fact that he's 6'7". He's tall goalkeeper, and the fact that he wants Liverpool so badly that he would be willing to do what is proposed to be done. That shows a lot of commitment and love for the club.
Yeah, I think. Look, this guy. Look, he's a young goalkeeper. He's imposing already. He's playing in big tournaments. He's done well. Ali's a brilliant goalkeeper. In my generation, right? In terms of what I've seen, Ali's been our best.
Definitely.
But
100%.
Yeah, 100%. And the thing is, inevitably at some point, Ali's gonna, leave or retire or want to go back to Brazil, and we need to get the right possible thing because when you look at all the other great teams, like I don't really want to be saying great teams in like with Manchester United and Chelsea and that. I hate these teams, but they've had strong goalkeepers. We haven't had that in years, and we now have Ali, and it's so vitally important to get a player, groom him. You know what I mean? Like bring him into the Liverpool ways.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I think it's a vital thing to do now. And I've heard little rumors. I don't know how true they are, but that Alisson is a little bit unsettled with all the goalkeeping coaches leaving. Only Taffarel, I think, is still there.
Mhm.
There's things because he's quite a quiet guy, a very Christian guy, isn't he? And I
Mhm.
think
Very, very into his God stuff. Yeah,
absolutely the Brazilians
Very
are like
into
that.
God's-
No, so
Yeah.
I have a feeling this guy will
JC
probably,
is his BFF. Yeah, definitely. JC is
Yeah.
definitely his BFF. But but realistically, that's the reason why I did say that I thought maybe he would be open to going to Saudi Arabia, not only to further the the message of JC, but get the bag, which is what Bobby did, and he can return to Brazil with and Bobby's starting up his own church now in Brazil, for instance.
he's a pastor, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, Pastor
Wife
Bobby.
and-
God bless him.
Yeah,
I
him
wouldn't-
and his wife
I
are both
wouldn't-
going to be having their own church in Brazil, and and all praise to them for sure.
No, but
for
just to
doing-
what Nalante is saying, just quickly to what Nalante is saying, I think it's come down to potentially something along the lines of we said to Ali, what's the crack? What's the idea? You've got 2 years left. Do you want to look? Would you sign an extension? I don't know if we're giving him a big 5-year long deal, even though goalkeepers should be a little bit different. But maybe he's indicated to us that next season he will look to do something new and go to Saudi. And I wouldn't advise him trying to spread Christianity over there. By the way, just you might lose the old. Yeah, I'd keep that under wraps. But yeah, take that bag for 4 years and then go and build your mega church if that's what he's going to do with it. But if he's told that to us, then this is why I think we're making a big point of making sure that we have that new guy come in next year. Because I don't think we'd be pushing Ali out the door at all.
I
But
think
if
we're
he said to us,
future-proofing, aren't we, Ryan?
future-proofing, exactly, future-proofing, but only because he's given us the nod that one more year and then look, I can go to Saudi when he'll be 32, 33 again, not old for a goalkeeper
right.
at all. But I mean, a 4-year deal over there, probably as the world's best keeper, close to maybe 800 a million a week, maybe something stupid like that. Maybe he's just indicated that that's something he wants to do, and he's letting us know in advance that he won't sign an extension. So, and we all know Quiveen will probably move on. So to get this new number one guy ready to go, to me, it looks like that's if that walks like a duck and quacks like a duck. That's what the idea must be. He's not going to come into play second fiddle knowing a year in advance. So.
Yeah,
but it'd be good to get to see him if you did go to Bournemouth. I mean, it would be good to see him up close and personal in the league for a year. That would be helpful. That would be good.
It would be brilliant, I think, because
I
when
wish
you
I
look
had
at
that.
Bournemouth,
I wanted to show you that picture of him walking in. I don't know if you guys saw the picture of Ali. It is in the chat too, of Ali walking into training into the build into Liverpool, and he's greeting and he was greeting Mo Salah, and he's got like a cardigan on. It's all wrapped up like he just got back from like Martha's Vineyard or something like that. I don't know if you know what Martha's Vineyard is, but like it's like a
Yeah, we do.
place for us to go on yachts. You look like
I watched that. I don't know. I was expecting more of that because I saw that and it was the first time he'd walked in, and Mo just happened to be walking in the direction, and he comes in and he meets Mo, and I mean, he looked like he just bumped into someone who kind of works down in the warehouse in different departments. Somebody he sees maybe once every couple of months. There was no hug. There was no like, hey man. There was no like, oh hey man, I've seen you like 2 months. They just bang, I was going. Didn't even stop moving. They didn't even stop. They didn't even acknowledge each other. It was just like, oh yeah, that's that guy John, I think from upstairs or something. It was really, it wasn't like that big, hey man, back together, new season. It was, I mean, if it genuinely was the first time they've seen each other, it was bordering on the cold. I thought, but clearly not best buds, you know.
Well,
No, I mean it was. I just thought like for the body language people out there, I was expecting a lot more from them because, yeah, it was just like, well, back to business. Yeah, see you in the morning, kind of thing.
oh, he had to
Very,
get back
very
on his yacht.
professional.
Apparently, I guess maybe he just, maybe he's just worried about like getting back to his yacht real quick. I don't know.
Well, look, I don't know. They said obviously he managed to dodge these bollards that they're setting up in the car park, trying to nudge our own players, before they even get the season started. So
Maybe it is. Maybe Trap Joe. Maybe it is. Maybe he didn't recognize him without the hair. He was like, "Oh, who's this guy?" I don't know. Maybe
it is the look though, isn't it? That all like white trainers, cream pants, cream white on cream.
Yeah. No, he
they all
came
look
in.
very
He came in definitely looking like.
Ebu was wearing the same. Trent.
All he
wearing
needed
the
was like
same
a
kind of thing.
pipe or something, and he would have been like, and like maybe
Yeah.
like little.
And then
Monaco
Diaz shows up
or
with the
something.
double denim.
That would have been great.
Diaz shows up with the double denim and the bleach thing going, yeah, it's 1987, lads.
There you go. Well, let's get back into this. What I was going to bring up next is basically it's related again to the where in the world is Richard Hughes basically rather than Carmen Sandiego. Basically, his next pursuit or next target, I guess you could say, is Sepp Vandenberg now. Sepp Vandenberg is very, very coveted by a lot of different teams. Unfortunately, the teams that are most of the teams that are going for his talent are teams that they normally don't make the kind of transfer acquisitions at the price that is set for him. Obviously, Vandenberg wants regular minutes, the kind of regular role he had with his Bundesliga team. So he's open to stay if he can get that here at Liverpool. He's did a 180 from his like staunch, hey, I want out to now being open to just trying to play. And but we have a 20 million pound transfer fee on his head. So the short list of center backs for Liverpool include Hincapié. There has also been a report out there for Antonio Silva, which is interesting. I didn't see that one coming early. And then also, obviously, the one that a lot of us would like to see is the Bastoni link that has all of a sudden come up with a little bit more steam. I think it's a little bit more steam because a lot of us would like to see it happen. That's probably the least likely to happen, but that is where we're at. If we get another 20 million though, for Vandenberg, that's good business, by the way. I mean, that'd be excellent business for us to get 20 million for Vandenberg. I know we've had this player for quite a long time. But if you were to get 20 million, now we're looking at 20 million for Vandenberg. We could be looking at obviously 20 million at least net for Carvalho. Looking at 9 million. Let's just call it 10 to make it easy number. For Solanke, that's like 50 million now all of a sudden in that kitty. And that's not even going with what was already in the kitty to go for these big name transfers. Do we need to make a big name transfer? Like, as in, do we put that 50 million plus whatever needs to happen for a big name like a Bastoni, or is a Hincapié or an Antonio Silva a good enough deal for you with that kind of money? I'm gonna go with I'll go with Baz first, then we'll go Lee, and then we'll go Irishman. And I think Nolante is going to be coming back in a second, but we'll start with Baz on that question. What do you want to do with the 50 million or the potential 50 million?
Potential 50 million. Look, we've been a club over the years that we've not really bought big name players in. However, we're not afraid to go and sign big players if they become available, like your Van Dijks of this world, and stuff, and people like that. Look, the money thing, like selling of Carvalho and possibly Seth and Sepp even, and windfall of Solanke's deal. We are recruiting a lot of money back in, but it's an FSG thing. I don't want to bring it in you know, the
Yeah,
argument.
let's not go. Let's not go there.
No,
Yeah,
we won't
yeah.
go- yeah.
No, but make your point. No, but don't be afraid to make your point, dude.
Yeah, you can
No,
make
no.
your point. Yeah.
No. All I'm gonna say, right, is we, you know, in terms of money coming in, it's good business. Don't get me wrong, it is good business, for real. But you know, when you start taking out players like, you know, your Seths and your, I don't know, say for example Clark in a few years' time, or Kumas and stuff, we still need a good quality squad, because we're going to be a team that's going to always be competing. And look at last year. I didn't watch a lot of football last year, but you know, I heard a lot of it, and we lost players, and we need a squad to compete. So if there is a big player that's available, like a Bastoni or something like that's going to command big money and stuff, and he wants to come to Liverpool, you know, it's the quality. I mean, like when we do lose people like your Van Dijks at some point, you know, and your Salahs of some point, you're going to need to bring in some good quality players with like pedigree. So I think bringing in big players and big name players is important for sure. And you know, we've proven over the years that we can bring in like some like players with promise that are not household names and make them stars. But I don't know a lot about this manager and you know what he's like. But from what I've been told, like he's good with youngsters. So you know, we don't need to get a ready-made player. We can bring in some, you know, some cheaper players. But so long as we spend the money, do you know what I mean, on the right places and the right players, then either way, so long as we're improving the team every year with players that we need, then it's not a problem.
Okay. Lee, how about for you? I put the question the basic gist of what the question was is that if we were to sell these two players plus the Slanky, you know, as a bonus to that kitty, would you go for who would you go for? And would you go for like one big player, or would you go for like two very good players, like Baz was saying, like two good squad players to help shape the squad together?
Yeah, go for two big players, two big signings, like by spending the money that we bring in rather than just putting it to one side. Spend the money that we bring in from Carvalho, Solanke, and say Vandenberg, and throw that with whatever we already had, and spend every last penny of it. Like basically, I would to get the right two players in, because I feel that's all we need. I've said over and again which positions I want them in. We don't need to do that, but that's all we need is two players, in my view, two good players to add to what we've got, and I think we're onto something.
Okay. Oh, and so then who would be your players? Now, and I'll let Irishman go next, and then I'll let Baz give his answer too.
Well, I still really like Hincapie myself. Yeah, since you mentioned his name, I always have since like we were linked with him, and I watched bits of him, like, and then like, you know, did a little bit of research as much as you can. You know what I mean, on someone from Venezuela or whatever he's from. Is it Venezuela that he's from?
No, he's Ecuadorian, I believe.
Ecuadorian, sorry. But Ecuadorian, as much as you can look into someone who's an Ecuadorian player, like, you know, have a look at him, and he looks like a good player, and he seems to have like the things that I think we need, like, which is a left foot, and he's a centre half, and he can play left back. This is what I've been not moaning for, like just wishing for a while, is a left-footed centre half that can play left back too, and give us an option there. You know, like a tight option, like the way Gomez is a tight option at right back. If we had an actual left-footed centre back who could play left back rather than putting Joe there sometimes, it'd be better for me, because I always like to have a left footer on the left side, right footer on the right side. Just makes it easier to move the ball, doesn't it? Like up the pitch.
First time.
Gives us balance as well, doesn't it? Natural balance.
Yeah, a good balance. Yeah, good balance.
Well, the player you're talking about, Lee, he went to Manchester City last season for 90 million quid. His name is Gvardiol. We wanted him.
He was brilliant.
If we'd gotten him, we would have locked it down. He would have locked down everything you've just said. Look, he was playing bloody left wing for Man City at the end of the season. He can play left back, left centre half, but they just came in with that 90 million, and okay.
Yeah, Liverpool fan as well, isn't he, the last?
Yeah, Liverpool fan. But what can you do, you know? But yeah, I would go with the two. Like, to me, I want us to go, because like I want anyone to tell me who are, like, come out and name the three awful Liverpool players name me 3 like terrible, absolute dog dirt Liverpool players, because there aren't any, right? So then it's right. Okay, so how do you prove on that? Right. Then the market gets narrower and narrower and narrower. This is where this statement where they came out that they were only looking for high quality replacements, because there's no point going out there and going into the market and going, yeah, look, we could go out there tomorrow and pick some guy up for 20 million and he
Okay.
can play DM. That's the whole point. It's like, but they've no interest in going out and doing that. Now that can be interpreted different ways, but to me, it's just like, well, yeah, that makes sense. Like how, like if we went out and bought, I don't know, a Calvin Phillips tomorrow, would everyone be
please
going,
don't
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
that's
I
the
know.
thing. We
Yeah.
could do that. We could go out
Yeah,
and pick up a
sure,
player like
absolutely.
that, absolutely no problem. But nobody would want that. So this is and they're looking at the same way. There's really only 2 or 3 players out there that they really think can improve us, which is a compliment to us. But I think you've already seen a kind of a dynamic shift in the way we're doing business now that Edwards is back. I think you're seeing a lot more proactive moves in the market, which I don't know whether it's for good or bad, whether some people see it, but I see us being clever again in the market. I see us being kind of precise in the market and getting top dollar, like we were talking about last night, not getting ripped off for players. I mean, if you're not telling me, if you could have told me yesterday, someone would said, "Oh, we should be getting more than 27 million potential, 20 million guaranteed for Carvalho," I wouldn't even take that. Nobody would have said that yesterday. That's a big fee for a player like him. Never kicked the ball for us, really. You know, we're making those kind of moves again, which, like you said, all that money should add up, which I think will allow us to go out and make that basically sort of like you're on the trip down and you're pulling into the Motor Mile and all the dealerships are there, and you're pulling into the Toyota dealership. And oh, okay, we're going to a new Toyota, but then you take a little kind of around, and then you're into the Lexus department. You go, oh, okay, we're going to get a Lexus. We're not here for a Toyota. You know, we're here for the Lexus this year. You know, the Bastone.
Right. I like
you
that.
know, you know.
We don't. Yeah. We want the
No, we
Lexus.
have extra to spend.
We
Yeah,
don't
we've
want
got
the
Lexus
Camry this
money.
year. Yeah,
Yeah,
we don't
we've
need
got Lexus
Camry.
money.
They're reliable. They're
They're
they
good.
get you.
Yeah,
they're good. They're nice
great.
cars, but yeah,
No,
we want the
we've
Lex
got
this
extra
year.
money. Yeah, we've got extra money. We're only buying the best. Because that's not going to improve. We've got a Toyota at home. We've got the really good ones. We need to and that's what's going to do it, is bringing in that. Maybe it's like I am a thing about Bastoni. Like Lee is totally right, by the way. We do need a player in that position, and that's not Bastoni. But I just think Bastoni is so fucking good that if you brought in him and that's just a real 5-star. And like I said it the other night at Baz, I don't know what you think about this, but I just think as a club, the fact that Klopp has left, I think we need to go out and make a couple of statements that say to people that, look, it doesn't matter that Klopp is gone. Liverpool can still attract the biggest names.
That's big. That would be a statement. That would be a huge statement.
100%. But if we do, if we get someone like a Zubi, you know what I mean, and even a Bastoni, I doubt the Bastoni thing, but if we do get him, then you know what I mean, that will show that it wasn't just a Klopp factor. You know what I mean? Yes, Klopp. We got a lot of players through, them wanting to play for Klopp, but we're still Liverpool ultimately. We're still one of those the best club in in England. So it's definitely. I agree. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Yeah. Bonkers is going with what I would like to see us do. I'd like to see us take that 50, drop the 20 or 30 or 40, whatever is necessary. I don't know about 40, but like the 20 or 30 extra on top of that to make the Bastoni thing happen. Bernie's saying Bastoni or Ignacio. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a shout.
Do you know what, 12? I mean, because obviously you're going to ask the question as well to me about players coming in and that. Look, we definitely do need. I am concerned about our defense.
Okay.
And I do think that we definitely do need a few more players at the back. Yes, I know Salah is one of those guys that is, potentially one more year left. We don't know what's going on with him, so we are looking at maybe forwards and stuff. But we've lost Matip as well. We've lost Matip.
Which is a big loss. It's a big
Which-
loss.
It's a big
That was a
loss,
big
and
loss.
I know we can argue that he didn't play a lot last year and stuff like that. Yeah, that's true.
Mhm.
He has been
Mhm.
injury prone, but when he's had those runs in the team, he's been brilliant. You know, with Van Dijk, and then Ibu. Ibu is a brilliant player, but with Ibu, sometimes he is injury prone. He's still quite young, but he's injury prone. He hasn't really established himself, and we've got Kwanzaa. Kwanzaa's decent, but he's a young guy with a lot of pressure. You know what I mean? Playing alongside Van Dijk. You know, all it takes is him. You know, he's not used to playing 50, 60 games a season. Do you know what I mean? Like, we're not going to look at centre backs. Van Dijk is at that age where he can get injured. You know,
Sure.
Kwanzaa, he's young. You know,
Well,
we
then
have
can I ask you this question? Then?
Yeah.
I understand your concern. We all have some, you know, I wouldn't say I'm not necessarily concerned for the center back position as like my only priority, but
Yeah.
but what I was going to ask is this: if we do hypothetically, let's say we go out and get a Hincape, or we get the Antonio Silva, or a name that I don't know if Heiler's still in the chat, but like if we got a Schlotterbeck or something like that, you know, Nico Schlotterbeck, or someone along those lines, right? One, does that put a real obstacle for not only Konate? That's one thing. That's neither here nor there. But does that put a real obstacle in Kwanzaa's development as well? Because now, you know, right now we are most likely going to go into this season with Kwanzaa as our second center back, as our second choice center back.
Yeah.
Looks that way,
And
don't
by
it?
bringing in, the question is, by bringing in a Pastoni or bringing in a Hincape or whoever we bring in, you know, hypothetically bring in a big name center back,
Yeah. The thing,
that will make it more difficult. If not, it's certainly, you're not going to bring in 60, 70 million pound center back and then start Kwanzaa. You know,
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. But I still believe, you know, he's still very young. We've got to be very careful with this lad. And you know something, a club like Liverpool, and I don't want to be sentimental and stuff like that. He's a good, promising, you know, defender that, you know, can start for Liverpool's first team. But remember, we're still Liverpool. We still need good competition. You know, when you look at the teams of old, you know, there was always competition there, and competition doesn't hurt. So long as you're wise with your choices and you're rotating, he'll get his game for sure to improve. So I think that's important to remember as well. You know, we had a year, you know, a couple of years back where he just, you know, it happens in the Premier League where we could just lose defenders or midfielders, and then the midfielders have to go into defense. You know, we were terrible that year, and I just think we need a little bit more cover. You know, we don't need to go and bring in, like, you know, players like, you know, I don't know, let's say £100 million defender in. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because then when you have him, you'll expect him to start, and then, but you could still get your, you know, your 40 millions, your 35 million type of player that will rotate. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, and that's the question. That's the reason I'm asking, because, like,
Yeah.
I think we do have a certified center back pairing for VVD set with Kwanzaa. I think that that's a phenomenal center back pair. I think that if Konate could stay healthy, he's a phenomenal center back pairing for him as well. But bringing in another center back means we're going to have this. You'd have the same issues and problems that you have with Vandenberg, you know, and like
Vandenberg, 12th man. To be fair, he's only recently started to become like a player that can stay in the team. You know, he's taken his time. He's been here for a little while, and it's only recent times he's kind of like got there. So you've got to bear that in mind. He's been around. Yes, this is his probably his breakout. But they're even talking about selling him. So,
yeah. Oh, I know, and I get that. I'm just saying that, like, it's going to be. I'm sure if we go to a, you know, if we do go and pursue another center back, we're not telling that center back, hey, come in and we're going to fight for your place. No, we're going to say most likely, you know, that we're spending this kind of money on you because we're expecting for you to start. And, you know, but it's a different story if you go out there and buy a, a promising 15, 20 million pound center back, or would you have a Sepp that's just willing to take on the role of being a third?
No, I get that. The only reason why I'm mentioning this 12th man is just because, again, you don't know. I don't know if Liverpool are doing a little trimming of their squad at the moment or trying to fundraise to go and buy, players and stuff. I don't know what's going on. And I don't want to
think, but maybe.
Yeah. So the thing is, just you're hearing a lot of players, potentially leaving or demanding first team, things now, opportunities. And if Seth can do it, then fine. But, at this moment here in the UK, from what I'm hearing and stuff like that, there's a lot of players that are they're potentially on their way out. Or
no, I get that. that.
So that's what I'm
to see. Basically, I would like to. I'm gonna
go back and
forth. I know, Irishman. I'm gonna go. I'll let you go, and then I'll let Nolante and Lee go, because the last part and point I was going to make is that I'm looking for, if we could get a player that has the mentality of an Endo, then I could see it working out for the center back pairing for what we have. That's what I'm trying to get across. But if you have a player,
your question to me is, sorry.
If you have a player that is that does want us, that has the quality to start and needs to start, then we do have a little of an issue of saying, okay, now what are we gonna? Now we got to tell Konate and we got to tell Kwanzaa, hey, you got to fight, not only fight for your position, but now this position isn't yours any longer. That's all I was trying to get across. Go ahead, Iris.
Yeah. Your question basically seems to be do we bring in someone or do we start Kwanzaa? Mm-hmm. Because if we're bringing in someone that's big money, he's going to start. So do we basically want to start with Kwanzaa or do we want to bring in someone? Because I think we all know we need to bring in someone.
Mm-hmm.
Because like you said, it's a numbers game. There's always competition. Like what happens if he's out,
right,
for 3 months, it gives you, I would be much happier with, Jarrell has come in and shown maturity beyond his years, ability beyond his years, a clear shout to start. I mean, he started, a couple of people didn't come off the bench or were benched for the final 3 games of the season, 4 games. That was a Klopp decision was being made. That one of those was Nunez, the other was Ibu. Nunez lost his place to Gakpo, and Ibu lost his place to Kwanzaa. And it was gone beyond the point of, he's not fit. So, no, these guys, he's starting ahead of him. And the big one was Kwanzaa. He's done it for Slot as well. So you were asking that question. Okay, do you stick with this guy or do you bring someone in?
Mm-hmm.
It's a really, really tough call, but I think you bring someone in and then that means it's closing time for one of the other guys.
Yeah.
Maybe it's Ibu, but I think you can't never have too many top quality players. Mm-hmm. Like to have the idea of having a 4 of VVD, Kwanzaa, Bastoni, and Gomez, and we sell Ibu. I'm fine with that. There'll be plenty of time for Kwanzaa to get minutes all across the board. But yeah, it'll be.
It's a tough question. Very tough question. Yeah.
But I think he can show, if we don't bring somebody in, he won't let us down. I mean, maybe we're waiting until January because we can't quite get something done. But if he stays fit, we are treading the fine line a little bit. I do think we need either Hincapié or a Bastoni. But yeah, I think we need we've made a defensive central signing. That's what we're doing. We've spent money. We've identified a problem. We fixed it. There you go.
Lee, and then I'll when I see Nolante, I'll bring you in when you're off mute, Nolante. But Lee, how do you feel about this? Is that your reading of the situation? Is that Kwanzaa? I understand will he's not going to make a big stink about not starting per se. He'll understand his time will come. But Konate might not be. Konate might say, okay, well, moving on to PSG or something like that.
For me, the loss of Joe Matip would be too much, like not to replace him, you know what I mean, because of his experience. I think he was, although we said Gomez had better stats that year we won the league, Matip was the best partner that we've had for Virgil. Like, Although he did spend quite a bit of time injured, he did still make a lot of appearances. Joe Massive, didn't he? He wasn't like injured all the time.
Yeah, he's been brilliant, hasn't he?
Yeah, I just feel we need to replace him because he was hugely experienced. And I can't stress that enough. The experience that the guy has, and as good a prospect as Jarrell is, I don't think it's fair on Virgil to pair him with Jarrell and expect to get the best out of Virgil playing next to a rookie who's had half a season or something like.
Fair point.
Fair point.
I want Jarrell's development to continue, but slowly. I don't want to see him I don't want to see him starting the season either. I'd like us to buy a player to start the season, or for it to be Canate, and for Jarrell to go back to bench duty and have games.
Nolante.
And
How about can I just okay, go ahead, Baz, real quick.
Yeah, 100%. You know what Lee's saying is spot on. But we could still, how we got Matip? We got Matip on a free from Schalke back in the day, yeah? We can always get someone like that. You do get those old, diamonds.
You do,
yeah.
25
so that would
years
still
old.
help Konza, do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Okay. So you would say, are you advocating then just to spend that money, the money that we're making on someone else then, and then just worry about get a Matip type player, or
what, me?
Yeah, Baz. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just saying that. Look, my concern is, look, he's a brilliant guy, and I don't I echo what you guys what you guys think of him. He's a great young player. He's got potential. I just don't want him burnt out. We've seen so many youngsters burnt out, and he's had a lot of games already. So if we can get someone, and remember, he's at some point Van Dijk is going to be gone. So we kind of need players to learn with great defenders, and if we can get a player that can be maybe not important, but will step in every now and then that needed and stuff. It all helps. And when you look at these youngsters in training, they're going to be training against good defenders that have been there and done it, so they can learn stuff. And you can get a player for 10 million, or even a free transfer, even 15 million. Don't have to be great. So long as we got numbers and they can improve the team and what we've got already, then I'm all for that. We don't have to go and buy Hollywood signings. We've never been that club, but we have gone in there and got players when we really needed them. For this Kwanzaa thing, we don't really need a defender, but it'd be good to have numbers to help him and obviously help the team for a long, grueling season.
Okay.
If you look at teams that win the title in most countries, they have experienced centre-backs. You don't tend to see teams winning the title with a 20-year-old or a 21-year-old. It's basically unheard of. You just don't see it. Young centre-backs can come in and play in lesser teams, usually in bottom or middle teams. They can come in and play. But when you're one of the top clubs, the very top clubs, you really need to be having experience in that position.
Nolante, how do you feel about this?
I think everyone makes valid points. I think the thing with Kwanzaa, I think sometimes as fans we turn up the cooker stove a little bit to 0 to 100 too quickly. Now, don't get me wrong, Kwanzaa's good, but to say that he's I hear some comments again. This is not the chat, but as he's clear of Ibu and clear of Gomez, that's just let's just calm down and touch a piece, because end of the day, for me per se, Ibu and Gomez are just as good when they're fit, and Kwanzaa will at his trajectory right now. He probably looks to be better than both Ibu and Gomez, but not just yet. There's still certain things he needs to learn. Now, if you're telling me we have all four of them, again, hypothetically speaking, if you're telling me if we had all four of those centre backs fit for, let's just say, 75% of the season, then I wouldn't really worry too much about getting another centre back. But because of the need, and the key is we don't know what's going to happen with BVD next season, so there's a potential that this could be his last season with the contract. So, like you said, Brian's. I'm going to keep Brian happy with Bastoni. Brian Bastoni. Literally, I haven't said anyone like that. So if let's just say we get Bastoni, I'm going to focus on Brian Bastoni. Yeah, that's his name,
Cool.
Brian Bastoni for now. So we get if we get Brian Bastoni in, yeah. So let's just say he goes in, then that'd be perfect because let's just say if BVD's going to go, he will start most of the games, and then we can implement. We have 5 centre backs, and that will cover all areas. VVD can go, and then Bastoni, whether it's a Kwanzaa, whether it's a Ibrahim Gomez, we can slowly project that for next season. But but again, it's all really hypothetical. But as the rest of the panel said, in that 5th choice. So yeah, I mean, when I was thinking about it, yeah, I guess we need it for those reasons because again, VVDs. And one last thing I'll just say, we need to rotate VVD this season. We can't play him in every single game because he's burnt out. He's burnt out, honestly. Because if we do that, then what is the point? Then what is the point? It's not like we've got centre backs that are just like some, flipping Harry Maguire centre backs. But I understand the injury. Yeah, exactly.
Oh wow!
I know, but it's not like we've got Harry Maguire
catching strays.
Exactly, yeah. Harry Maguire
Well,
centre
he's
backs.
big enough. He will catch
Or
a
you-
lot of strays.
Exactly, or you got a Podgy Luke Shaw desperation at centre back in our team. You know what I mean? But look, as long
Can I ask you,
look, as-
Nolante? Can I ask Nolante a question? Could you see
Sure.
a scenario? Because I think you've just kind of basically said it there. Can you see a scenario where next summer, BVD and Allison both ride off into the sunset?
you know what?
Right, yeah, I can. But more VVD than Allison for me.
Okay.
I can, yeah. I think with a lot of them, and again, this is what I get it as a player, and sometimes again, I guess as fans, all of you can correct me if I'm wrong, but sometimes some of these players get sentimental with the coach instead of the club itself, and
Oh, sorry.
I get-
Sorry, and Mo Salah, by the way. And Mo Salah, by the way, because he'll only have a year. He'll be free.
yeah,
next year.
Brian, you know what? No, yeah, to be honest, although it's funny you say that, Brian, because if we go back to about 2018, 2019 times, when we had Bobby's, Salah and Firmino, I think majority of fans, and maybe I was thinking the first one to leave out of the 3 would be Salah. Because you hear the quotes with the agents. And it's funny enough, he's the one who's still there. It is kind of funny that. But you know what, Brian, to answer your question, yeah, I could, I could. And it's scary.
Three amigos, kind of calling it day together. Slots or Klopp's gone.
Yeah.
Early 30s. I mean, I think probably if you said it was back in who would be the first of them to go, we would have thought, oh yeah, some crazy club will come in and give us 150 for Salah and he'll end up leaving. That's probably what most people would have thought at the time.
Yeah,
But they're all coming to that kind of pinch point now. It's like, and they are. It's not like they're 27. They're not 27, are they?
Yeah,
they're
exactly.
all
Yeah, they're at that
32-ish. So
it's an end of an era, and it's a Jurgen Klopp for a long time. Now we're in a new regime. We need to kind of like he needs to bring in his players now to show his way of playing.
Yeah.
It was great whilst it lasted. Do you know what I mean? It's now time where these players are not 27, like you're saying. Not 27. They're at that age now. If we just need to future-proof the team and make sure we're able to still compete. Do you know what I mean? And that's what my concern is.
Well,
Yeah.
the
Can I just add? Sorry, 12. Can I just add one thing quickly? Sorry, before you just make the next point. I think what it is for me, and again, I was just to my last point is the fact that again maybe I'm being a bit too much about this, but I guess I have to understand it from a player's point. But when it's the whole Klopp thing, and I get it, Klopp, you've been there sentimental, and then all of a sudden it's gone, and now you're arming about it. I don't like that. I really don't like that. And yes, you've been with a manager for a long time, but what is it? Is it Klopp FC or is it Liverpool FC for me?
exactly.
But that's my personal opinion, and I hate that. I hate that. I really do. And of all due respect, and fans, yes, if all of them, if I'm not saying it is, if that's the case, then go. See you later. Bye bye. We move.
We've had better managers than
We
Klopp.
move.
We've had better managers than Klopp.
Right. That's it.
We've had better we've had. I mean, it's not Klopp isn't even our best manager. I mean,
No.
it's never even. It's not Paisley. It's not Shankly FC. It's not fucking
It's
Dalglish
generational,
FC.
though, right?
It's LFC. Yeah, but
I
it's
get
like
what
that's
you're
how
saying.
good we are. You know what I mean? That we've had
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
5 of the best managers ever to play the fucking gig. You know, we're used to these, so it's never Klopp FC, Salah FC. Like Nolante saying, if you watch online these days, you think, oh, he's gone, that's the club dead. What?
Yeah.
We were here long before him, and we'll be here long after. We
100.
exit like we're LFC, man. Not anything. That's that should be yeah. That's where it starts. That's where it begins. So whoever comes in, and I'm with you, Baz. A new broom is as difficult, as uncomfortable as it might be.
Mm.
It is needed because it's not. We can't have these residuals from the Klopp era because that'll only drag it back. It's difficult, and what you call it, ripping off the Band-Aid.
Yeah.
It's new era, new times. You can't have like, oh, remember when Klopp was here? Because Salah
Yeah.
and BBD and Ali, and they're still sitting in the corner. And
Yeah.
but it has to be quality replacements. If you don't,
Sure.
100%.
Sure.
yeah. But that's
Well-
what you do. You move, you improve.
Well, one of those quality replacements that's being mentioned out here is that apparently Hughes has targeted, possibly in addition to not the defense, not the midfield, but the attack. And his name isn't Anthony Gordon, by the way. That's not
Thank
who I was
God.
going to bring up. Okay.
Thank God. Thank the Lord.
Apparently they're reportedly targeting the German international Maximilian Bayer. He plays for Hoffenheim.
Oh, that's a nice noise.
I know, I heard that. Yeah. Obviously, we understand where one of us sits on that fence. But yes, but FC Liverpool have basically focused on this player, Maximilian, and they've had talks in the recent days, if not weeks, with the player, trying to see what and where it could actually progress to. Is that a name? I already know. I already know Nalante's answer for that one, but we'll go around the horn this time. We'll start the Irishman on this one. Is that a name that moves you? Is that a name that you're interested in, or is that a name that's just
Bayer?
This is reported by Sky Sport, by the way, too. So it's a legit.
What's his position? I only know Max Meyer. I know Bayer. Max Meyer that went to Crystal Palace. Max Bayer. What does he do? I mean, I know he's a footballer, but he's a defender.
Isn't he a
Max
forward?
Meyer? No, this name.
No, I know Meyer, but Bayer. Who's this guy Bayer? I honestly.
He's like he's like a forward, Brian. So he can play across the. Yeah, he's a forward, not like an out-and-out striker. Yeah, can play across.
You obviously know a bit about him, and so tell me who. Give me the lowdown on.
He's a young 21 years old for Hoffenheim. He's been highly rated by Germany. Borussia Dortmund won him.
Okay.
Yeah, so he's been highly touted. For me, again, he's good, but I don't think he's what we need. I don't see him better than or clear of anyone else on upgrades. If that's my just opinion anyway. But again, that from what I've seen of him, I've seen little bits and pieces, but
who would you
not for
compare him
me.
to? Just in terms of a name that I would know.
I'll say his play is a little bit like Jota's, in a sense. Not in the finishing aspect, but the way he plays.
Okay. Right. Okay. Yeah, it seems like a bit of a strange one. We definitely don't need like a Carvalho, an Elliott, a Jota. You're talking about that type of tricky forward type. So it doesn't look. I mean, if he was cheap or so, like, is he someone that we can pick up for 8 million because there's a year left on his deal or something like that? But definitely not somewhere where we're radically in need of something. So. Yeah, I'd pass on that one. I don't know.
Okay. Lee, you're last up since I guess the guys basically gave their opinions on it. How about for you? Is this a name that moves you? He can play a little bit of midfield, like that cam role as well, technically, but he's more of a striker, forward, whatever you want to relate him to. And like you asked, and some names. I'm not going to give that name because that'll definitely move you off of him. But Jared Bowen, I'm trying to think.
No, who are you going to
Marcus
say? Who are you going to say?
Thuram,
Who are you going to say? Were you going to say Anthony Gordon? Or
No, I was going to say Lacazette.
Lacazette, is he still
come on.
going?
I'm not a fan.
Yeah, he still played in the final yesterday
He
for
plays
France.
Lyon. He plays for Lyon.
Yeah.
Oh, did he
Yeah.
get an overage
For in
spot in the
Spain,
Olympics?
I've seen it for the Olympics.
He got an overage in Lacazette.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
he must be like
Yeah.
twice the age of some of the guys in
Um,
that squad. Man. Okay.
Yeah, he's there,
Fofana
yeah.
is also a name that was out there. Nketiah
Yeah.
is a name
Fofana,
that's
yeah.
been offered as being
Oh,
like
it
a
gets
comparison
worse.
player.
What?
It gets
That-
worse. It
No,
gets
that's a
worse.
lie.
I mean, Jared
To
Bowen's a
Liverpool?
good player, though. I would love
Yeah,
Nketiah.
Bowen. I wouldn't mind. Yeah, no, Ketty. Oh, hell no.
Nketiah is shite.
Ah,
Nketiah
Yes, okay.
is-
Listen, man, I'll go better
That's why I
chance.
didn't want to really
Yeah.
yeah, I didn't want to bring up those names. But yeah, Bowen and who else did I say? Bowen and
Lack of sweat. I like it. Nice one, Baz. Lack
No,
of sweat.
no,
I like
not
it.
him.
Like,
But that's some of the FB ref. You know how they give the comparisons.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Like, who, like, name a player that he's, you know, that I know of that he plays like. So, yeah, it sounds like one of those
That's his.
can,
That's his.
can
That's his
play
post
anywhere across.
player profile. How about
Yeah, is
so
that
Lee,
something
real
we
quick
need?
then? Yeah, is that something that you'd go for? Is this the player that makes you go, oh, okay, cool?
And yeah, if we feel he'd be a good addition, and maybe he's a player Slot's aware of and already likes. Maybe he was like watching him when he was Feyenoord manager or something, whoever he was at before Offenheim or whatever. You know what I mean? He might be a player that Slot likes, and that might be why we're linked with him. I don't know. I don't know enough about him, but if he's a decent player and he is liked by members of our coaching staff, then I don't see why not. As long as
We
his
haven't
price-
had a German in a while, have we?
No,
Have
No.
we? Haven't had a German in a while.
For ages, have we?
no, you haven't.
I suppose
We
Matip
haven't.
would be the one, wouldn't he? Matip was the
yeah,
last year.
Matip. Yeah.
Does he
Yeah,
qualify
I
as
guess so.
German?
Just
Did
the,
he
yeah.
Oh, no.
I mean, he's Cameroonian, right?
Cameroon.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
Cameroonian. Yeah.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Born in Germany.
But yeah,
brought up in Germany, wasn't he? Like, so that he grew
Yeah.
up.
did he play? Did he play for Cameroon though?
Yeah,
Yeah,
he had a
he
big
did.
falling out.
He did.
Exactly.
He retired about 4 years ago because he had a big falling out with the coach.
Yeah.
And the coach was like, you're never coming back if you don't apologize. And I was like,
Oh, I've been like
dropping.
geez.
Yeah, he just
Yeah.
dropped the keys. He's like, yeah, okay, cool. Works for me too.
Yeah, I'm
Works
making
for me,
millions,
baby.
bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And never, they tried to basically, like, they didn't talk basically for about 2 years. And then they were going to AFCON, the previous one, I think.
Mhm.
And
won
they,
it, they
they
won
just
it.
called him up. They called him up. And he was
Mhm.
like, what are you doing? Like, but no,
Yeah.
because you know the way they send out call ups.
Yeah.
So yeah, they tried to just pretend that he hadn't retired, and they called him up, and he was like, no, that dude is still in charge
Yeah.
until he says whatever. I'm never going back. So he held out on that.
Good for him. Good for him.
But I'm just trying to think maybe Didi Hamann. I mean, it couldn't be Didi Hamann, could it? That couldn't be the last German player we've had. It couldn't possibly be that long. No, Emre Can. I'm an idiot. It's Emre Can.
Yeah. Emery.
And he's not even, but even he, I mean, he's, yeah, I mean, probably
Yeah,
punched me in
yeah.
the face, I think. But I mean, yeah, Emre Can, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely, yeah, stupid. But the DMs, we haven't had a striker. We had Karl-Heinz Riedle. Never really had a
Yeah.
German forward.
Mm.
You know,
Oh,
Riedle
yeah.
came in, he was decent.
Yeah, he's all right.
Um,
Yeah. Well,
We had Christian Ziga, fullback.
yeah. Yeah,
Great
he
player
did.
he was. He was a great player. Ziga. He could take it. He was like the Risa before Risa. Great free
Yeah.
kick taker, powerful shot, all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff.
I was
But,
always
yeah.
enjoyed when we bought Christian Ziga because
Yeah,
he
great
known
player.
as a really good left back and he looked good for Middlesbrough, but then he came and he
Wow.
hardly
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
actually am. I'm actually kind of. I know that most of us have probably erased this player from our mind, but A player just came to mind. Karius is German.
Oh, of course he is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
The great Carius.
yeah.
One of Klopp's best signings.
He might be our last. He might have. Maybe that's the reason why we. Maybe that's the reason why we never went back in for a German player. But I think
should
he was the
stop
last.
talking.
I think he was our last German player.
Yeah, I really should stop talking. I'm like, it's been like 20 years since we've had a German. And it's like, well, it was this guy, there's that stuff. Yeah, I should really think things through before saying that out loud. Yeah. He just got released as well, didn't he? By Newcastle. Like he was at Newcastle for a while, and he played in that cup final for them really recently because they had 3 injured goalkeepers, I think.
Oh yeah, the Carabao Cup. Yeah, Man United 1-2-0. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah. They literally had like every goalkeeper injured.
I don't know how many games he actually played with us, but I'm taking a look here.
He played all the way.
We
through
had
to that final.
Freyendorf, who played all of from 2021 to 2023, and then we had a goalkeeper as well, who has a
but first team appearances. First team appearances in the league. Freyendorf got Freyendorf was the one that was alongside Musialowski about 4 years ago. They're like, oh, these are the 2 guys that are going to make it. These are the wonder kids. That's how long Musialowski is here. Him and Freyendorf, I think they played in.
What's the how do you pronounce the
spell it?
His name is Anka Preu, and then it's got like a symbol. I don't know. It's not like a letter.
Yeah. Preu.
You know what I'm talking about?
Is that it?
Preu.
That's the whole
it's
name.
Preu, and then it's got like it's not like a letter. It's like not like a, it's like a symbol.
I don't know what that is. Anybody know what that is? Hylor, Preu. What the fuck is that, man? And then like a symbol.
He played. Yeah. I'll tell you who he is. So 1 second. Okay, so maybe it's spelled. Okay, that's all good. That's all good. It's she was a woman. It's the women's team, so don't worry about it. That's why. It said on the Liverpool site that it was a player, but it didn't say the actual if it was men or female. But what I was going to get into these last 2 points is that RB Salzburg are edging closer or getting very close to making a permanent deal for Bobby Clark. The deal was initially the offer that they offered for, or RB Salzburg initially offered £6 million for the midfielder. We were talking about this backstage. I think that's like silly. Like I don't even know why you even. Yeah, that's like charity if you think we're going to go for £6 million for a player, a 19-year-old that has promise the way he does. But RB Salzburg is looking. It is now reported that they are very, very close to finalizing a permanent deal for Bobby Clark. It's unfortunate because Bobby Clark is a player I think that has a potential place in this squad at some point. Obviously, $6 million isn't the number that moves me. I would assume it's not a number that moves either of you, anyone on the panel, much less in the chat. What's the number that does move you for Bobby Clark? What is the number that does say, okay, yeah, I'm good with that evaluation? Lee, what's the number that moves you off? Moves Bobby Clark on to like an RB Salzburg?
With him having such limited experience, it's a tough one, isn't it, to say what you'd actually want and accept. I just don't want to sell him. I think, like you, that he showed enough that I'd like him to be loaned and hopefully he could come back an even better player and an even better prospect after time playing somewhere else. I don't think we should sell him, especially not for 6. Like, I mean, it's worth keeping him. And do you know what I mean? For that amount of money, it's worth keeping him and waiting and seeing what he's like in a year, 18 months' time, and he's played more.
Mm-hmm. And I'll say this to Baz. Baz is saying going rates it would be around 10 to 15 million. Let's say hypothetically they double that price. Then let's say they come back with a deal for 12 million. Are you moving on? Are you moved by that number? 12 million.
No, because we've just sold Carvalho for 27.5 million. We're likely to sell Vandenberg. And who's the other one? We got the Solanke. Do we really need to sell the Bobby Clark? Do we need to? Unless it's just
I don't think so.
We
I
can't
don't think so.
football
Yeah,
at any time in the next few years, so you might as well go. If it's a case of that,
Right.
then yeah, okay.
Right. I guess it does get down to what the player wants too. I mean, if the player wants, if the player doesn't want to go out on loan, he wants to actually be on the team that he'll be able to make some real progress in by being a first teamer or being eventual first teamer, then maybe that's the case. But Nolante, is 12 million enough for you then? If 6 million is not enough, is 12 million enough? Or or do we have to get closer to that 18, 24 or something like that million?
Nah, I can't really. He hasn't done much to warrant 18 mil for him, but 12 million is acceptable. Like Lee said, it's very hard. I mean, similar to what Lee said, I mean, I would love to keep him because I think he's got the potential, but unfortunately, he's just not going to get the chance. He's just a different manager. Will just rampack to midfield, and unfortunately, he's just not going to get the chance. So sadly, it's the best thing to moving on. Unfortunately.
And so 12 million is a good enough number for you?
Yeah, 12 is fine for me, to be honest. It's a fair number for a Clark.
Okay.
Yeah, 6 is a piss take, but 12 is at least reasonable sum. 6 is not, no.
Yeah, peanuts.
Irishman?
Yeah, if you say to me 10 million even cash, because like I'm constantly trying to remind myself of this, that like this is the world that we live in now, that a guy, Bobby Clark, who most people couldn't even pick out of a lineup, is worth 10 million pounds, which to me is probably is a lot of money for a player like him, because it's easy just to say, oh, well, look, it's Liverpool, we should do this. But then I say, okay, well, let's, use some critical thinking here, and let's put myself in the shoes of the buying club. Go, okay, well, hang on, you want us to pay 20 million quid or 15 for a Bobby Clark who's done what exactly? Show me what he's done. So you've got to also, there's a middle ground there as well. I think there's as much as you can push a price for, like you can push Carvalho's price nice and high, because look what he did at Hull. He'd already played for Fulham in the Premier League before we bought him for 6 months. Look at, he has a body of work to a degree. Someone like Clark, it's a very small body of work. So even getting 10 million pounds for a guy like that, to me, blows my mind. Like back in the day, those kids used to move for like 600 grand. That's what they'd move for, because they were kids from the academy who didn't quite break in, and then they go. So to get those kind of money, that kind of price, to me, so then I have to recalibrate then. Okay, so in today's market. And so, okay, well, even in today's market, I think 10 is a great deal. It really is. That's a lot of money for literally a guy who hasn't played for us, other than, a few appearances here and there. He's never been a first team regular. And get a really, really good buyback and sell on in a deal like that. That's the way I look at that one.
Yeah. If I go that low, I know it sounds like I'm saying it's low, but I mean, I know the market. We've seen 19-year-olds go for like, 50, 60 million, so.
Yeah, but I mean, they're not, Bobby Clark is not that guy as well. He's still, I mean, like I say, most people wouldn't know. He's not I'm
not saying he's a 60 million pound player, but I'm just trying to get across that the market is certainly more advanced for some of the young talent that wasn't demanding these kinds of prices before, but I would.
No, but I think that's where he's right at the top. Yeah, surely he's at the top. That's probably what you were talking out on him as a buying club, looking at him, go, right, well, if they're going to start asking 15, we'll walk away.
Okay.
Because I'd imagine, but yeah, like we were talking about backstage. Okay, 6 million, but well, then we want 50% sell on. We want an immediate buyback at 20.
We want a bunch of perks on the deal.
And we don't want 50% sell on the profit.
Right.
We want 50% sell on. That kind of stuff. If you're getting them really cheap, then you can ramp up that stuff. Definitely, like, and because that's a lot of things. Sorry, just quickly, because that used to get thrown out. Such and such a club has a 50% sell on. And now what's coming out a lot more is actually that it's 50% of the profit on deals.
Yeah.
So people think, oh, well, they had a 50% on that guy. He went for 40. They're getting 20. It's like, no, they paid 30. So you're only getting 5. So sometimes we
that's why I gave that number for that's why I gave the number difference for Fabio.
Yeah, because I never knew that back in the day. I always just thought it was always, and back in the day it used to be that as well. It used to be just whatever you sold them for, we got 50% of it.
Right. They only like, for instance, for Fabio, the earnings. So for Fabio Carrara's previous club, the benefit from the deal earning 20% of Liverpool's profit above 5 million. So it starts at 5 million. It doesn't start at 0. So
that's they all got renegotiated later because people were giving away half of their profits on players.
Yeah.
And then they started cleverer people were coming and going, well, no, you can have percentage of the profit on the sale, not the fucking sale price. You know, because it would end up giving your money back to some of these guys if they did you right. Like,
well, we have I was gonna say we have just 2 more topics left. The one topic here is
the Lante has a question.
I know that's one. That's one of the 2. That's one of the 2 topics. But the last topic that I have listed here is the Charity Shield. I know the Charity Shield was today. I mean, that means this connected to the thumbnail, and that this is basically the curtain raiser for the Premier League season. Manchester United via Garnacho, right? Made a very big effort, to say, hey, let's bring home some type of silverware this year, to start the season off right for them, but they did not prevail. They ended up getting it was kind of interesting. The rat, or my fault. What's his name? Bernardo Silva. Bernardo Master Splinter got subbed on, and ended up he got subbed on very late, and ended up seeing the goal get scored on. He ended up getting pissed off about it, I guess. Basically, ended up going over and giving a very hard foul. Got a yellow card, and a couple minutes later, puts in a brilliant header. That was a very, very, very talented header. Great pass by Bob too. I don't like giving out praise to Manchester cheaters, but whatever.
Yeah, it was.
So they ended up going to penalty.
I did watch the first half, but like it was sort of, I was watching something interesting on my laptop with the television like beyond the laptop, so I was looking at it and going, "Oh yeah." But I didn't see any goals, and I just didn't pursue the second half.
There weren't any.
There weren't any really. The second goal, the second, there was. They ended up going 1-1. There's no extra time in Charity Shield or Community Shield. Same thing basically. I think we're all happy that there isn't, because that game was kind of like, oh man, United had their opportunities. McTominay had a tap in that he just couldn't get his feet right for. Rashford had an easy goal that he just like ended up like banging off the post. Yeah, and then they end up going, and then Johnny not be good, I guess you could say. Evans, sorry to hear about that. But
so just he's like, yeah, he's got the names for them all.
Yeah, right. Because that was horrid. That thing was like a field goal.
Oh mate, not even on target. Jeez, I tell you.
Yeah, and you got to feel bad for him a little bit. I mean, like,
nah.
Exactly. 1 second, then you're like, nah. But they've got some other stuff.
I didn't come back for this.
Yeah, right. they've got some other stuff going on in their lives
bro.
right now. Being the Red Devils, they just signed the two Dutch players from
Yeah,
Bayern
getting the
Yes.
band back together.
Yep.
Getting the band
Listen.
back together. Wouldn't it make sense? Would it not make sense for
Oh,
them to
absolutely.
bring
I
in
mean,
De
like,
Jong?
Oh
Yeah.
God,
Imagine if
yeah.
they bring in De Jong to get him back
Absolutely.
together
Jeez.
with the
He's been
Ligt and
offered. He's been
Slot
offered.
and
Yeah.
Mazraoui was defender
yeah.
at Ajax. Would it not all
Yeah,
make
yeah.
sense?
Tadic, yeah,
They'll
just
pay
get
that
rewarded.
money.
I
They
would say
pay
that
that
is
money.
that is Brian. Real quick, I'm sorry. That is
No.
unless Mathis Delict doesn't get his let's say his affairs in order, I guess you could call it, because apparently Delict is wanted by the police.
Yes, I heard about this. Yeah.
He was
Spill the beans.
he's been
Spill the
reported
beans.
that he was in a hit and run
Run, yeah, hit and run,
right
yeah.
outside of Bayern Munich's training ground.
Is this a terrible joke? Is this a terrible joke incoming, or is this real?
No, this is
No,
the
no, this is reported.
paper,
I
the
was
German
waiting
good
for
paper,
for-
some joke
the
about
Bild,
hitting.
the
Okay.
Bild,
Yep.
BILD. Delict is allegedly to have rammed a parked car in his Audi Q8 before driving away. A witness reported this to the police. Apparently, the police did not want to name Delict for data protection
Of
reasons,
course.
but
Mm.
got leaked all the same. And neither Bayern Munich nor Delict have commented on the incident as of late, but the report states that the police are currently examining the damage being before taking any further action over the matter. So
Going to the Hague.
yeah, Red Devils bringing in a future, convict
A
or
fugitive.
something. I
A
guess,
fugitive
is
from the
nothing
law.
new.
A fender
Fugitive
bender
injustice.
fugitive. A fender bender fugitive.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
fender bender, the random fender bender. the
The
hit and
fender
run.
bender bandit going across Europe,
Yeah.
causing minor damage to parked cars and fleeing the scene.
I wonder
I
if
mean, like,
there's
what's
any
sad
law-
about it is why if you hit the car, why not? Just
Couldn't wait to
he
get
could
out
probably
there.
reach for
He
the
just
amount of money
threw-
that he's making a week for
He
sitting
just
on the
throw a
bench.
grand out of the window.
Exactly,
He
he
just
can
threw a
reach
grand out
into
the
his
window and
pocket
drive off.
and probably, put the money underneath the windshield wiper and keep it moving. Be like, sorry, get it fixed. I'm out.
Mm.
Oh man, that's pathetic. But that's
Couldn't wait to get out of there.
that's the
Couldn't wait
last
to
bit
get out
of
there,
news I wanted to bring up. I just thought that'd be fun to talk about. for a
Yeah,
second.
I like the motoring offences, don't they? Ferguson himself was a big fan of motoring offences, like speeding and then getting got off.
Old red nose. Yeah, can't stand him honestly. Yeah, he's a great
Can you
manager,
imagine
but
the days before body cams? The
Oh, yeah,
days
yeah.
before body cams.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it was very easy. Oh, sorry, Mr. Ferguson. Maybe just put the bottle of brandy in the glove box. Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
No worries. Yeah, no worries. Okay. Yeah. Do you want we can drive ahead of you if you want. We can make sure you get there without killing anyone. I mean, quickly, kind of thing. Yeah.
MK Toast got it right. He's a hit and run defender now. So,
Yeah.
oh,
mean,
man.
Like
Definitely,
they are the
definitely.
kind of club that will pay all of the money to a De Jong, because someone said it earlier on when we were talking about it. Like, and they were saying like because it is a Man United. We'll look at that deal and go, player, footballer, yes, 100%. Excellent. It ticks all of your boxes. But when it comes to finances, when it comes to common sense, when it comes to all that, we'd be like, no, that's not a deal we're going to do. But Man United will come in and go, yeah, we'll do it. We'll give you 500 grand a week.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm sure. United will send their lawyers or figure out what they need to do.
Oh,
to
yeah.
get this handled and
No, I just mean with
wrong.
De Jong. I mean De Jong. I mean they do that. They take De Jong.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Like they would solve Barcelona's problem for them, because we were talking about this earlier on. This is not like this is not a money problem for Barcelona.
Right,
It's literally
right.
what we're talking about with the cap
It's about getting
that we're
players
talking about bringing
registered.
into.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
the cap that we're talking about bringing into English football. Like they've hit their cap. They have tons of money coming in. They have huge, commercial contracts and deals and all that. There's tons of money there, but they just can't spend any of it. So they
Mhm.
need to remove, like you say, a guy that's on what 700 tops, and then maybe four. Once they remove that, you imagine if you do that in a prudent way, which they won't. Just say that gives you at least two players on 200 grand a week.
Yeah.
That's what they can do. Then they can then go, okay, we can now pay that money to them. So
Yeah.
that's what they're looking and wanting to do. So if a Man United gave them basically that get out of jail free card by taking a De Jong off their hands, they could then go out and probably buy a Nico.
I don't know what
buy
they're look.
someone
They're
like
already. I don't know if they're. I don't. I know the young deal has been offered or has been out there. They're definitely interested in it. But I also know that they're also planning a Braithwaite, right? That's how you pronounce
Is he
it.
still
Yeah,
there?
Jared Braithwaite.
Yeah.
Jared Braithwaite. Yeah, they're not going to get him because of the lit and Everton are not bulging at the price. They're bulging at the price. Everton, which I don't blame them.
I
So
don't
you
blame
pay
them.
him give us 7
Yeah.
AM, so they won't be getting him this season.
He's one
But
of
just
their
to
few
add,
assets. He's
exactly,
one of the
yeah,
few assets they have. Yeah.
exactly.
Pure
So they
profit.
can have the lit.
Pure profit.
It's so funny because Man United they're so desperate for De Jong, and he's not really fussed about going there. That's the funny thing.
No.
He really is not bothered about going. He doesn't really want to. It's just that Barca just forcing the issue. That's all it is.
Yeah, they're not definitely. This is Brad says 70 million for the Everton defender is a lot of money for that young of a player.
Yeah,
but I don't
you
think
can
they're not
imagine
budging.
if they were to do that, if Everton were to bring in 70 million quid,
Oh,
basically
more
on
power
a
to them.
pure profit,
Yeah, more power to
that
them.
would wipe out a lot of their FFP problems in one stroke. That would make them go, cool, we're now very, very comfortable.
Yeah.
Now they're trying to be bought out. That
Yeah.
guy that owns Texor, who owns a big part of Palace,
Mhm.
is trying to take over to do
That
that
is
deal
DVD
on
money.
Everton.
Yeah.
Because they're all over the shop. They don't even know who owns them at the moment.
Yeah.
So an
Yep.
injection like
Sure.
that,
Yep.
that would help them big time. So they're fair play to them to hold out because Man United offered them like 60. Why not? Like more power to them. Get that Man United money.
Let's get into Nalante's question as well. I put something in the private chat for you guys to check out. But
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
But yeah, so Nalante, ask away.
Oh, my show, goddammit. I'm taking over. No, I'm joking. This is
Put him on
always
the big screen thing. Give him the big screen.
Yeah, yeah, right.
No. Exactly. No. We don't do that.
Avatar was there. You'd have the big screen right now.
Yeah, you got a picture.
Sorry. Yeah, but this is a question for you guys and the chat. I mean, it's talked about, but I just want to. It just got me thinking, really, and it's back to last season. Though Chestnut and the way we finished the season. So my question to you, the chat, you can answer this and the panel regarding if he had all the chance to do it. But again, I've argued this with different people about whether it is going to be leaked out or not. I personally think he could have held off. Does everyone think that Klopp's announcement in November in terms of him leaving, was that one of the main factors for derailing our title challenge? Now, if he didn't make that announcement, if he waited to the end of the season, would we be having a different outcome? That's my question.
I have actually an answer. I do have an answer for that.
February? Wasn't it February? I think it was. Wasn't it? February came out. That interview. That was February. I know you said November. I'm only saying it because I know in Atlanta you said November. But he said that he'd made the decision in November.
But that's right. You're right, Brian. Yes, Brian, you're right. Sorry. Yes.
But that interview actually came out. It was around late February, wasn't it? There's only about 3 months left. So I think that's around the timeline, right? There was about 3
Yeah.
months left in the season. Yeah. Late February, early March kind of thing.
Yeah.
So what I was going to offer, at least, and this is Don Hutchison said this on ESPN actually just recently. Excuse me. And what he offered was that apparently his take, or what he was told, is that Klopp had a discussion with his backroom staff, and someone from his backroom staff leaked the story. And he knew that once the backroom staff member leaked the story for whatever reason, he knew that he had to come out and say and make the announcement. That was why it was an abrupt announcement. No one really knew about it when it came to his entire staff. But when he gave that's what Don Hutchison said on ESPN FC. Now, whether that's that's the gospel or not, I don't know. But I know that he does have his links, and and that's what that does make sense to me as well.
But to Nolante's question, do you think? I mean, regardless of how it was going to come out, but do we think? I mean, Nolante's question is: do you think that it affected the end of the season? I mean,
I think it definitely affected the end of the season. I mean, like that's really big news, certainly. And why I was bringing up that context is because I think the reason why they were not telling the team that news is because of the impact that it eventually had. I think that they would have made the announcement once they had gotten through the season, and it would have been like this. It would have been very similar to, Mane was a little bit different, but it would have been somewhat similar to the way that Mane decided to leave, in essence, like as in.
So do you think? So no, I think what Nante is that. Do you think we would have had a better season if it hadn't come out and it came at the end?
I think so.
Yeah, because I'm with what you were saying and what Nante said. I said it on the day that that interview came out at like 2:00 on a Wednesday afternoon. It was totally random the time it came out. It wasn't like a peak media news time to make a big announcement. And I said it at the time, the only reason this has been done is because they've been told, if you don't put this out yourselves now, it's going to be in the papers tomorrow. This story will be in the papers tomorrow. That's what I said at the time. It wasn't a weekend announcement. It was like literally all of a sudden there was a video on the YouTube channel and it's an interview, a Klopp statement, and it completely comes out of nowhere. And I said that from day one. The only reason they've done that right now is because they've been told, if you don't do this yourselves right now, everyone's going to find out via the bloody SUN and the Daily Mail when they open their browser tomorrow and they open the paper tomorrow. Because like you said, that story was leaked. Now, some people refuse to accept that. And I said, use your brain. Why would they do that otherwise? They thought it was all this and that. It's like, no, this has obviously been coming out now because it's either Jurgen tells them, it's like that human factor, basically. Do you want your family to find out from you, or do you want them to find out by opening the paper tomorrow? No, you tell them. Right. And that's what that was all about, because it's coming out, lads. We were thought we could push it back, but like you said, it was a backroom guy. Somebody told the press. Yeah. And also, like I said, there's only so far along the line.
I don't know what, again, Brian, I don't know what.
Well, exactly. We don't want to go
in doing it. Yeah, I'm not. I don't know if it was like because he was trying to get a payday, or it maybe didn't like Klopp, or I don't know, whatever. Yeah. I just know that it was that's what was reported.
Or at least that was clearly the reason. And afterwards, also, like we said, you can't start looking for a new manager the day the season ends. You have to start putting the feelers out. And the second you ring up an agent and say, we need to speak to you about potentially hiring your manager for next season, then the cat is out of the bag. Those agents talk to the Romanos of this world who say Liverpool are looking for a new manager. Then the cat is out of the bag. Because what are we supposed to do? Sit on our hands and do nothing? in the social media age in this world, that stuff was going to get out. So,
Oh yeah,
so
yeah.
we
Absolutely agree with
we
that.
headed it off at the pass by
Yeah.
making our statement first, and that totally derailed our season because, like I said, Harvey Elliott came out the next day and said, "Oh, every game now is a cup final." And I was like,
Mhm.
"No, Harvey, you can't, because cup finals are draining and they're emotionally draining and they're really hard to play in. If you're saying every game between like February and then it's now, oh, we have to win them all for Klopp, that's not possible, dude. It needs to be an average, normal season." And yeah, it messed everything up, and it's not Edwards' fault, it's not FFG's fault, it's not Klopp's fault. It's the fact that we weren't able to get our business done quietly behind the scenes without everybody knowing about it, because
Yeah.
that's just this day and age. So he had to come out and say it, because, like I said, nobody wanted to find out that Klopp was leaving by opening up one of those rag tabloid.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like you imagine, it's like
You
you
can't keep a secret
a lot of
that
people.
days, well, can you? Really? It's very hard, like what you just said, Brian, to keep a secret like that in today's world, isn't it? And it proved so. If the stories are correct that somebody leaked it and it was about to, be in the paper and that the next day, he had to come out and say something, didn't he?
Tell it to the fans face to face, I'm leaving. Rather than some dickhead London journo, Klopp leaves Liverpool. No, man. No, Klopp comes out. The human way of doing it. That was always his way. Speak to the fans. I think we were lucky that we actually got to hear from him, because it was obviously that close to coming out that I'm surprised that it wasn't actually leaked.
Mhm.
We won't get any.
Yeah.
We won't get any credit for that. But I mean, you look at Romano now. He's talking about there's going to be a press conference in 10 minutes time, kind of stuff. It's like, this guy is.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. They threw that together.
It's ridiculous.
They threw it together. Yeah. By the way, apparently Chelsea's summer transfer, summer transfer number 43 might be incoming, because Chris just announced that Napoli director Mana confirms.
Nah,
This man has asked the club.
nah, he won't go to Chelsea.
Who knows? Who knows? I mean,
Nah, he won't go to Chelsea. Nah, he don't want to go Chelsea. He wants to go PSG.
well, I'm not saying he wants to go, but I mean, like, I'm sure Chelsea will put it off.
Oh, they're useless. I mean, Bowling, mate. Honestly, I don't know who runs that club. They are absolutely clueless, honestly. But it's not our problem anyway. Not our problem. We'll just sit back and then have the popcorn.
Yeah.
I mean, listen. The fact of the matter, you get rid of a man called Poch, who is a good coach. I do like him, no matter what. For a C-Tech Pep. A C-Tech Pep in charge. Oh my God, that's embarrassing. Not a B-Tech Pep, but a C-Tech Pep. Just because he's got a bald head and he plays a little bit of passing stuff.
Yeah,
God, honestly, embarrassing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, Reece James showing some of his new duties at Chelsea. So maybe it's just fun banter if you're a guest if you're a guest from another club.
So I was expecting him to do the crib room to not like us.
Yeah, right. That's not doctored too. That's an actual photo, by the way. That's him.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
I wasn't gonna say a word.
Yeah, right.
Oh man. Yeah, it's a fun stuff. Did you go ahead, Delante.
Yeah, sorry, just the last bit about Klopp. Obviously, what me and Barry missed for the past, but I don't know. I know, Toff, you said about Don Hutchison, and yeah, he probably have a few contacts in the club, but I still think there's a way they could have kept it discreet. And the journalists will always pick up something they think they know, and it could have been done in a way and denied, and they could have still kept it discreet. I think they just, again, we're on a good run, and it just put too much pressure on the players.
Nilante, I'll just say one thing to you on that, right?
Yeah.
Because this is the way I looked at that, and that's fair enough. But I didn't kind of extrapolate that much. But what I would say to you is, if they knew that it was going to come out the next day, would you have done the interview? Because, but yeah, I had only basically gotten to the point where it was coming out the next day. So yeah, okay, maybe if they could have done something to stop it getting to that point, yeah, fair enough. But if you knew it was going to come out the next day in the papers, would you not do that interview kind of thing to let Klopp get out there and do it a day ahead of time? Kind of in terms of like, yeah, okay, the fucking cat is out of the bag here. So, but yeah, I'm with you. Maybe if they could have stopped the cat getting out of the bag, that's one thing. But what I was just kind of saying was was the fact that they knew it was going to happen, so then they put the interview out to get just a bit ahead of it. That's really the way I was kind of looking at it. But yeah, you're fair enough. You're right enough to say that yeah, maybe we could have stopped it getting to the point where we had to do an interview to stop it. But yeah, we don't really know. I mean, some of these guys are. It wouldn't even be like one of the guys at the big papers, maybe. You know, they just come out and go, well, if they're not going to put, I'll say it. I'll be the guy that puts it out there because we know it's true.
Yeah.
Because then he's come out and said I made the thing in November. So obviously he's not like obviously his staff know because you have to tell his staff, look, guys, you need to make plans. I mean, because you'll be leaving in, you know, you can't tell them on the last day of the season. Oh, and by the way, I'd quit, so you all need to find new jobs.
It's just tough, though. I mean, like, even if you tell your staff, I mean, your staff have wives and children and family members, you know.
People
that's
are
all
people,
you're probably
man.
telling.
People
You might
talk.
You might say something. Yeah, you might say something.
And people love to be in the know, don't they?
Sometimes people pay for that kind of information. So I mean, that's huge.
People love to be in the know.
Yeah.
Like we all use it as a joke kind of thing.
Big scoop.
Oh, my sister's brother works as a physio at Liverpool. Yeah, I bet he does. But there's actually a couple of people out there who their sister's brother does work as a physio at Liverpool.
Right.
So yeah, there will be a couple of guys out there that did know, and yeah, they might earn like, you know, a couple of hundred. Well, you know, a good wage.
I doubt they're there for a couple hundred, but yeah, like
but a good wage, and there's someone offers them 20 grand for a story.
Yeah, for a story like that, that's huge.
Yeah, that's huge. Story, 20 grand, no one's ever going to find out. You know, ring up a Mirror journalist and hey, here I heard this.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, the person, I still think they could just somehow just shut that up or just denied it. I mean, no, I mean, journalists wanted to do what they do. We know that this, you know, they could have kept it to the end of the season, but I guess what's done is done, and he did what he did, and he said it, and yeah, look what happened after that. So
yeah. But yes. That's going to bring us to the end of our show for today, at least. Is there anything that you want to say to the people, or is there anything that you want to bring up real quick, or is there anything you want to say to the people, Lee? I know we don't want to. I know that Tracy might be waiting for you, so that's why.
Oh. Honestly, one of these days he's going to be sitting on that couch.
Yeah. I know. I think Tracy is. I think she's just out of camera. That's all.
It's a very long couch. Yeah.
No, thanks everyone. Thanks for taking part in that, like, and putting things in the chat, like. Thanks. See you again.
Yeah, for sure. Nalante, is there anything you want to say to people before we let people rock and roll with their weekend?
No, good. Obviously, big up the chat, obviously, and yeah, man, we keep pushing.
I think that the game is tomorrow, right? It's the Sevilla game is tomorrow.
Yes. I think was it 2 halves or?
Yeah, it's like 2 hour long game.
Yeah,
2 hour long.
Game. That's it, bro.
2 60 minutes. Yeah, they're doing
that.
Yeah. We'll put out a I'm not certain if we're going to do a watch along for that, but you know, maybe we'll do like a review or do like a reaction type show for it or something like that. But we'll do a show. We'll get a show in for tomorrow. Hopefully, it'll be a Zuby's coming to Liverpool show. How about that? Let's put that out.
Yes, let's go. Come on, man. Tired of this, man.
Irish.
Zuby, forget about.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Wait, guys. Finish your thought. No, not Finish your thought.
No. I was gonna say, just forget about the Spanish paellas and just come over here, mate, to the Wet and Cold. Come here to get your skin tannly spied with the Afro. You never walk alone. Come on, Zuby.
Yeah,
Forget it,
exactly.
man. Come and
Yeah.
play with some ballers. Come on.
Alonso 2.0. Come on. You know, Alonso was your hero. Follow in your hero's footsteps, and if anything, make even bigger footprints. You got the chance to make even bigger footprints here. So Zuby, where are you? Right?
Exactly.
All right, Irishman. Before I get into any more stupid songs and names here.
Oh, what did I say to anybody that's still watching? If you haven't liked, just like, but yeah, what was going? We didn't talk about really the champion or the Charity Shield too much in terms of the game, but yeah, a really terrible, awful, boring thing to watch. So I hope nobody watched it, and we're not going to talk about. We're just going to straight into real football next weekend.
Yeah,
So we've only got a week. We've only got one more week of, kind of trying to fill in the gaps.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to at least being able to fill up, actual football, because we're running it like it's getting a bit weird. I think the whole us not buying anybody thing. So I just want football to start so we can kind of get that thing out of the road and see how good our players are under the new coach.
That's right. That's right. Hopefully the mystery van shows up tomorrow and Zuby hops out and says, up the
See,
Reds.
everything you said, I keep thinking Zubamendi. Or not Zubamendi, Zuberi. Every time you say Zuby's going to be on, I just keep thinking of Zuberi.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I would see Zuby.
Zuby.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we'll have a show tomorrow. Same time, same place as always. If it's a 7 o'clock hour, you know where to look for the show. Appreciate each and every one of you guys and ladies out there that joined us today. A lot of fun stuff that we talked about today, and we got even more, hopefully more fun stuff to talk about tomorrow. There's always going to be, it's always fun to talk about Manchester losing. We knew that one of that case was going to happen one way or another today. So at least we got to talk about the Red Devils losing, and also about some prospects. So we'll see if those prospects get answered tomorrow. And until tomorrow, I would just like to say, as always, up the Reds, people, up the Reds. We'll see you guys tomorrow. All right, take care.